Hello, good evening to everyone, and welcome to Nightsky Sanctum, Season 2, Episode 7. Thank you for the gifted sub, Seraphine Felstar. Awesome. Alptron Fairy is going to get to join in the cat spin. Awesome. Wow. Well, we have a slightly new look here. Hopefully, it's not screwing with anybody's eyeballs. If so, I might tone it down during the break. But hopefully, this works out for everyone. Let's get started testing audio and making sure you guys can hear everybody. Let's start with Morningstar. Please describe yourself in vivid terms. No, please introduce yourself and describe your character.
That would take all day if I were to do that. So I will just introduce myself. My name is Morningstar, and today I shall be playing Elise Mont'Or. Me, malicious, middle-aged Median Psyche. Who's...
The alliteration.
Well, I do love a little bit of alliteration.
Megan?
She's a
Sorry.
woman
Yeah,
of
you go right
fashion and authoritarianism. Now, someone else can go ahead.
ahead. Over to you,
Well,
Megan.
thank you. Okay, I'm Megan. I play Seth, a Nereid shapeshifter. So they're a fish that can do all kinds of other shapeshifty magic. Last time, I got enough points to become an inanimate object and hide my all my, I guess, biological giveaways. So I could be a stapler if I want to now. Who knows?
Andrea?
I am Andrea. I am playing Hollis. She is a god baba who is in love with death.
And do you want to, since you had a name change since our last Tuesday stream, you want to go ahead and put that out there too?
Yeah. Andrea is my given name, and that's what I am going to be going by from this time on.
Thank you for sharing that with us. And Azalin.
There we go. I am Azalin, and I'm going to play Yarrow, who is a satyr arcanist, and currently is reckless and unstable, and has a wonderful familiar in Jean, a beautiful phoenix. And we'll see what kind of craziness we'll get up to today.
Absolutely. Awesome. So, where we left off, the entire coven was back in their coven stead after creating some ties with the exiled for the first time. They returned back and they all spent some time doing some projects. I think everybody finished up a project or two. But one of the massive projects that was finished was Seth's artifact that they had been working on for, I think, about 5 sessions now, nearly since the beginning of this season. And it is completed, ready to be activated for the first time.
This is where we need a soundbite of bum bum bum.
So, you want to describe what you guys are all doing wherever you have set up this artifact and what it looks like and what you intend for it to do?
Okay. So, in a previous session, we infiltrated a museum and each took ourselves a bunch of little magical bits. So, while we were there, I took a bunch of hagstones. We've used them before to view into other worlds as sneaky cheeky glasses. But the ones that are left over now are going to be strung together with kelp to make a portal. And we're going to use that to potentially pop into the different worlds and mess shit up. So who knows?
Awesome. Yeah.
Excuse my language.
That language is acceptable. Yeah, and it has a little bit for everybody. The portal itself doesn't have any natural attunement. It's not particularly attuned to the underworld or to the shadow world or to the astral plane or to Arcadia or anything like that. So it is kind of a clean slate. So upon its first activation, it needs to be tuned to a particular realm. So what would you all like to do? A potential outing in spirit worlds as physical beings who has an interest in a particular world, something they want to do there, or anything like that. Thank you, Hercules.
Would you want to? Elise, do you want to take a peep on what's his name in his office? See if we can have him read his letter.
Well, as entertaining as that sounds, seems like we should likely use it for more meaningful purposes than that. Just peeking in on Rowan Sharp seems a bit unnecessary.
It is a potential way to get the drop on people. That's for sure. Of course, you'd need a portal out on the other side. That might take some wild magic.
Would Hollis want to do anything in the underworld? Get like, items or just try to make some dead friends?
Yeah. Getting like what do you call it? Like physical, anything physical that I could take out of the underworld back into our plane would be super cool just to have around to help me uh when I do my meditations and when I do my drugs and uh, yeah, specifically something from my lady friend would be cool if I could
Yeah, I
get
was
some.
going to mention, you do have a girlfriend who resides in the underworld, and if you're able to go there bodily, then you can interact with her bodily. One of the rare times. So yeah, that could definitely be a driving factor. So I think activation is definitely going to require some kind of roll.
Okay.
We had kind of discussed offline that a good method for attunement would be a lesser ritual in the future, but seeing as you don't have one prepared, I think it will require energy from a large number of people, preferably of the same coven.
So if we all did maybe like a group focus and pop some essence or something, would that work? Or
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. The more essence, the better, probably, at least to a degree.
okay.
So yeah, on Andrea, what does Hollis want to attune directly?
I do have some connection with trying to figure out a name that I like. I already have like a spiritual connection. I'm gonna call her Naomi because that's
Okay,
a beautiful name.
nice.
Um,
That's Imone backward.
so yeah, I already have some like attunement to her. So I figure that'll be a little bit easier to help with the attunement of the portal.
Yeah, that makes sense as sort of a focal point. Awesome. And I think I'm thinking like one essence per tier of the portal. So 5 essence to attune the portal. That can be split amongst you any way you see fit, amongst any of those who are involved.
I can actually take most of it in my fancy new horn tips. Since they hold 6 essence, so that will just be a great little first use of that. That way nobody has to risk their essence going into the underworld. We may need it. So.
Yeah.
Wow,
Sure.
that
yeah.
sounds great.
Yeah, so Azelwyn, as Yarrow, finished off one of their projects and made an enchanted tool. Do you want to describe your horn tips, what they're made of, and what they do for you?
Yeah, Yara's like, I want to feel fancy too, okay? And I have this fun new little power. And so instead of a general just wand, I was like, no, I want fancy little silver horn tips to protect these horns because they have been damaged before. And also hold essence and look fancy. And when activated, they do have a nice little blue sheen to them.
Thanks for the first time chat, Flaric. Yeah, and the others who have been first time chatting. Great to see everybody here. Okay. Did you make another enchanted tool, or was that your only one right now?
Oh, I did. I decided, you know what? While I had the extra downtime actions, we were going to make Elise a fancy little cigarette holder as well, in whatever style that Elise sees fit. That
Something like
way,
this, perhaps.
ooh,
Nice.
perfect. That way, when they're using their very interesting casting style, it already holds a little bit of essence for them, which I think is twice the amount of our Coven tier, so 6 right now.
Fantastic.
Means I could be even more aggressive about casting spells on saints.
Spread out those spells, make them affect greater numbers of people. Yeah, increase their magnitude. Awesome. Okay, so who wants to lead this group focus to activate the?
Well, I suppose it might make sense if I lead, under the circumstances, as I
Okay.
could fly as master planner to ensure that, well, if things go well, they go very well.
Yeah. Time to activate the dice roller. All right. um. For a group action, that's just going to cost you 1 willpower to start it. Then work out the total. Who all wants to be involved in this focus roll?
Oh,
I do.
Okay.
completely.
Awesome. Everybody feel free to roll focus action. Alright, we got a 6 from Anya, a 6 from Azelwyn, a
The
6 from Morningstar.
Well, that's a
wouldn't-
crit.
Yep, it is. That's
I went into the wrong chat, my mistake.
That's alright.
We go so deep into the underworld
Sweet.
and we meet Hades himself.
Alright. So yeah, that's a double crit. And no consequences whatsoever. The why don't Hollis, why don't you start describe, or Hollis and Elise, kind of a group description there of what all you're doing. Whoever wants to start.
Well, I'm sure Hollis has a much more interesting description than I will.
So, let's see. I guess we're gonna go Greek, and it is going to be dark and kind of dreary. There's a giant river and a boatman, and there across the river are beautiful fields, and yeah, lots of
Nice.
people wandering.
Awesome. You guys can all see this through sort of a lens. It's like this thin membrane that's covering the entrance to this portal that's large enough for you to step through. These hagstones are being held together by lines of kelp that are connecting them all, and they're all just standing taut in the shape of a oval portal. And see that just inside, and you can almost make out the voices of people in the underworld when you hear a thud come from above, several stories above, on the land outside of your covenstead. And because Hollis is a Baba, you get to make a fortune roll. That would be 4 dice now,
Nice.
to identify who has come knocking Coven's.
Okay.
That's a crit as well. Okay.
Nice.
Hollis is just jonesing for the underworld today.
Makes me really worried for later.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's always bad times when all the good rolls start at the beginning. Okay, so what you sense landing on your island is some kind of... It looks like a wooden raft, except rather than being used to navigate the waters, it is literally hovering over your island. It looks kind of like a boat, except instead of dipping into the water, it just flattens out completely. And on top of that raft are a dozen or more people who are wearing robes with sigils down the front of them. They don't look anything like House of the Ram. Most of their robes are white, some are blue. Yeah.
Did Timpley Solaris finally come to get their boat back?
No, they definitely don't look like them either. They are, it's hard to say sort of how they look or anything else in particular about like their intentions, but they do seem to be preparing a spell or a ritual of some kind atop their boat. They are a long way above you. They are completely above ground. Whereas you all are in, I think we had decided to set this portal pretty much as low as you could get it.
I could try to drag them down.
So you would need either a piece of their vessel or to be able to see it. Be able to cast a spell on it. All want to handle this. Leave your covenstead to its own defenses. It is secure after all, and warded, if I remember correctly. You could check your coven sheet. I'm pretty sure it's both secure and warded.
What's the worst that can happen? They take the children.
I don't see
I see
warded.
secure, but yeah, I don't see
Okay.
warded.
I think you guys probably assumed that having a Baba here is its own, at least you're warned.
You said we have to be able to see it or get a piece of it. Does that count if we see it through our familiar zone?
You can't cast through your familiar, although although Hollis could merge with their familiar, and then unmerge and cast. Familiars can't cast on their own or transmit castings unless a particular power specifies otherwise.
Okay.
So I am going to start a 6 o'clock that, actually a 4 o'clock that they're lesser ritual.
But we're busy.
Yeah.
We can come back later. Why don't I merge with my familiar and fly up there and see if I can't figure out who they are and what they're doing, and then I can telepathically relay that to everyone.
Does anyone else want to
Yeah.
send a familiar up?
If Hollis is just gonna merge with Iran and go up, can I just shapeshift into a mouse and Iran can like carry me up? So I can just join them?
Sure. They resist the urge to eat you.
Yeah. Don't you do it.
You just have to be a big enough rat that they can't swallow you whole.
I'll be chunky.
Stuff the chunky
capybara.
rat. Okay. So just the two of you?
As usual, Jean can go for backup flying up there.
Sounds good.
At least can't fly.
Whisper could be, stationed near the door, or, in case of intruders.
Iran's carrying me, I'm carrying Whisper.
I'm not certain what use Whisper would be, but I could send him along, I suppose.
Okay.
Mostly just a spy.
Okay.
Really want to bite somebody today, so
Think those teeth at them.
Okay, Hollis. We are in risky, so I'm gonna say merging with your familiar is not going to be require an action, but unmerging afterward, probably.
Okay.
So, right.
Can I just stay inside of Iran and speak to them?
Ooh.
I would say Iran can't speak, so probably not. But Seth could use their familiar to speak. Have
I'm
their
just using.
familiar impersonate anybody.
Yeah, my familiar could impersonate somebody, or I'm just ventriloquist dummying Iran.
Oh, yeah. Or I think Yarrow might have an ability that personal projection. Did you take that?
No.
Oh, you didn't. Why do I keep thinking you took that ability?
I think it's because Harriet had that.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're probably merging
gotcha.
the different sessions.
Yeah. Personal projection's perfect for this kind of thing. When somebody shows up and you just want to talk to them for a minute without having to deviate from the stuff you're doing. All right. But yeah, so how do you want to handle this when you all get up to the surface?
Can I just pop out on their raft?
Okay, so you want to leap
Fly
out of
all the way
your
up to their
owl?
boat. Yeah, jump out of the owl onto their raft.
Okay.
Take all of their sigils.
All right.
Oops.
Do you want to
Your ritual's
do
ruined.
some kind of roll for that, like a spring or?
I guess a spring would probably be the best. Makes the most sense.
Midlife Dices just popped into chat a few minutes ago. I'm not sure if he's still here. He is the Joel Klein. He is the person that made the intro music that we use for our sessions. So I hope he's still here, so everybody can say thank you. Because
It's beautiful and I love it.
Yeah,
Give mad props.
we love it so much. And
Wow.
yeah, thank you so much for stopping by. All right.
Yeah, I'll do a spring, and I will spend some willpower to get an extra die. Oh, I'm a little bit better at that. That'll give me 2. Maybe I'll still do a really good job.
And you said the what you're trying to do is
Mostly just
disrupt.
jump out and distract them so that they don't finish their ritual. And if I can fuck anything up while I land, kick their salt circle or anything like that.
Okay, so slow it down, and if you maybe crit,
Yeah,
you would want to completely wreck it. Okay,
yeah.
sounds good.
Break their jars, all kind of good stuff.
Right.
Let's see.
Oh, we got a
Oh,
partial success.
Nice.
that's not too bad.
Okay. Yeah, so you leap out of Iran and land solidly on their raft. Like I said, they're somewhere between 12 and 15 um, witches here. They all look, they're of various heritages, though the vast majority of them are Median. Um, you get this weird vibe. Sort of the hairs on the back of your neck stand up in a weird way. You're not exactly sure what it is, but regardless, you're still able to do what you're doing. And so you
Okay.
want to go ahead and describe that?
Yeah, so I guess Iran flies up and probably circles the raft a couple of times just to see where the best spot for me to pop out would be. And then I just kind of phase out of Iran and land on the raft.
Okay. So Iran like flies off and you drop out and land on the raft.
hmm Yeah,
Okay.
and then he continues to circle just to keep an eye.
Uh,
Did Iran just fly off with me? Or am I
uh,
like with
I would
Hollis?
assume
Not
he's
very far. He's
yeah.
staying very close. So if you want to
Okay.
drop onto like my shoulder or something, that's acceptable. I'll
Yeah, I
catch
would
ya.
absolutely give that to you. Whoever wants to join Hollis down there. And
Yeah, I thought I was already with them in Iran, so I'll pop down. Do I need to do a roll or anything for that?
I think it's fine. You're
I'll just grab you as I'm phasing out, and we'll just land together.
yeah, makes
Nice.
sense with a success like that. Okay. Um, it looks
Hollis
like
just grabs me. I give a little squeak.
yeah, there are enough witches there that they have enough are able to sort of split off from the main group that's doing the ritual to keep an eye on these familiars that are flying around. And so it doesn't really slow down their ritual much.
Yeah.
Because it was a partial success, they actually fill in one tick on their way.
It's
However, you are completely on the raft, and you have got like 5 witches looking at you, sort of holding their hands up in defensive positions. It doesn't look like it's like any kind of martial arts. It looks like they're ready to cast spells if necessary.
Whoa, my candle just made the weirdest sound I've ever heard a candle make.
Uh-oh.
Anywho,
That's a
it was
great
like,
sign.
yeah, it was like this weird little bubbling sound. Anyway, they've got 1 on their clock, and I'm just gonna be like, "Hi, friends. What are you doing here? What you need? Can I help you?"
Okay. Um, let us start then by making a reputation roll. How
Okay.
they know you. In for what they know you. Also, I noticed when I was looking over the coven sheet earlier that you need 1 additional lore.
1 additional lore.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
We have
you
strange,
guys picked
brutal,
up.
ambitious, deceptive,
Get
and we
1 more.
need we need 1 more. Let's see. What's on the list?
I'm gonna fortune roll.
We can be chaotic, maybe? We are pretty chaotic.
Yeah.
Or we're rebellious.
We're
Mm-hmm.
certainly rebellious.
I like rebellious. I think that makes sense.
I
Okay.
like that too. I don't see it on the. Maybe the sheet's not
You're allowed
putting
to add
properly
your
for
own.
me. Oh, okay. That's why I can't find it.
Well, I rolled another crit. It's not quite a crit in this circumstance. The last two being sixes mean that you're actually known for your newest exploits rather than your older exploits. So
Okay, that might be good.
they know you best for being the last two of the five, the newest one. Char.
Deceptive and rebellious.
And what's the second one?
Rebellious?
No, sorry, at the top. The second one,
Brutal.
brutal. Okay, so
Not
they
a
know
great
you.
impression.
They know you best for deceptive and rebellious, but they also know you for brutal, to a lesser degree. All right. So yeah, it looks like whoever they are, they've kind of been keeping tabs on you, but probably more recently than for any longer amount of time.
Okay.
And as soon as you start talking, um, a couple more of them step up and sort of prepare defensive spells. So you basically see these sort of bluish shields go up over their hands as they step up into formation, and they are covering the back part of the group that's continuing the ritual.
Okay.
With some sort of magical barriers. So you get the feeling that you need to do maybe a little bit more of a show of force, because they seem to be getting defensive rather than actually listening.
So their raft is wooden, right? It's like made out of wood.
It is, yeah.
I'm gonna invoke a
You do see
little bit of Tartarus.
invoke a little Tartarus as a treat.
Just in my hand. I want to fire, some fire.
You
Put
do
the
And I'm
candle
gonna,
on it.
hold it down towards their deck. Like, I will set your ship on fire and you will all fall to your deaths.
Cool.
In that situation.
All right. Yeah, they I'll give this to you. They are quite high tier, so as you look down at the wood, you see these protective runes drawn into the floor of the boat, and you know you can do it. You know you can do it, but you are a little worried that their protection might account for what you're planning.
I mean,
But
one way or another, wild magic if necessary. I will
yeah.
burn this thing out of the sky.
So it is going to be limited effect.
I'm just threatening. I'm not
Okay.
trying to set their boat on fire yet. I want to talk to them.
Can I have Jean just like flare up her little flame since she's kind of up there in the sky watching overhead?
Yeah, that sounds like a awesome assist with since it's fire. That makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. Okay. So Andrea, what does Hollis want to use for this intimidation, basically?
Not great at any of the social things. Um,
You could try focused, sort of show off the breadth and depth of your magical ability by maybe speaking in multiple languages and, speak some powerful words.
okay, yeah, I'll go full goblin and try to be super scary. Okay, so a focus roll.
And you get +1 die from Yarrow.
Okay.
If Yarrow is willing to spend a willpower.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I think the way you described it, Andrea, it
Mm-hmm.
sounded like you want to also do a little magical effect to sort of show off what you're able to do. So if you
Yeah.
want to spend an essence with that, that will
Yeah.
get you increased effect
Okay.
for one essence.
Because if I could just like, start charring their boat
Right.
so that they know that I could burn it, that would be cool.
All
Oh,
right. So that's going to be risky standard.
okay.
Okay. So um another partial success. That's going to fill in 2 points on their clock. So I think
Oh,
what this looks like is you're focusing your fire downward, trying to
mm-hmm.
scorch the boat, but it's taking a long time for it to scorch off the runes before it can get to the boat. So it just takes a while for you to make the effect, but
Okay.
it is happening exactly the way you wanted, showing it off. And what is Jean doing up in the sky to
Jean's
help?
been reborn for a while now, so she's probably like full size, and she just lets off such a big flame that there's blue towards the center even, and
Nice.
much Phoenix Force style.
Awesome. Yeah, so you get the attention of like about half the crew. You even see a couple of the people that are working on the ritual like craning their heads like what's going on out there. Um but yeah, their ritual looks like it might be about to finish. And do you want to turn up the heat? Or does
Yeah.
Seth want to try something?
Yeah. Do we have telepathy on right now?
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Jack Spiderstripe has been paying your telepathic bond costs for you so that he can
Okay.
continue to listen in on all your actions and live vicariously through you while he is currently a
Yep.
mass of stone in your basement.
He's on the top. He can see outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
that's
straight there.
right. So he's
He's
watching you guys
on back
do
to
it.
goals.
Yeah, so he's in your head like shouting, "You've got him on the run. Keep it up. Press him. You can do this."
In that
Uh,
case, I would like to. I'm still a rat on Hollis's shoulder at this point, so
okay.
I would like to use telepathy to talk to Hollis and be like, "Throw me. Don't tell them Indian."
All right.
How fortunate that I'm not there.
All right.
I
Exclude
just
me
want
from
Hollis to
that in your
huck me
mind.
at them.
All right.
I'll
So
do it.
okay. So that sounds like a Seth, maybe Spring with a Hollis assist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what are
Plus
you?
Right.
one willpower.
Yeah. And what exactly are you trying to do, Seth?
So what I want to do is I want Hollis to throw me, and then midair while I'm flying towards them, I just go full Silverwing.
Oh,
Nice.
damn.
Major intimidation, like the gob was talking to you.
Did
so,
she stutter?
so is this like Silverwing bowling? Have Hollis just throw you right into the center of the circle?
Just knock
Do a
him right off the
split.
raft.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would I
Okay.
still do a spring? Would I do any additional roll or anything for that because I want to turn into the Silverwing after? I know I
Um.
have to pop an essence for enigmatic form anyway. Just don't know if I need to do anything for the
Um.
secondary part of that.
I don't think you even need to pop an essence for enigmatic form because you were a rat for a while now.
Okay.
So
So
I
just
would
the spring
say,
action.
yeah, I think spring plus one die from Hollis covers you.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, let's try this out.
And that is a partial success. Okay.
Nice.
So, okay, we have a weird situation because the effect of the partial success is that the ritual completes, but the effect is that the ritual is disrupted. So going to roll a wild magic effect and see how the spell resolves itself. But go ahead and describe to me, Seth, what that looks like.
Okay. So I'm gonna get my little tiny rat paws, stick them on Hollis's face, like, come on, do it. So a little squeak as they pick me up, and as I'm flying through the air, legs and arms sprawled, and like just limbs in all directions, they're going to morph into the wings and the like wyvern arms of the silver wing, and I'm just going to howl at them as I'm in front, make myself extremely huge and intimidating.
Okay. The coven members that, or the congregation members that were standing around the circle, most of them just get blasted back by you transforming right in the middle of the circle. But when you come out in your form, and you stretch your wings out and try to stay aloft for a second, you find that you are stuck in space. You flap your wings and you don't go anywhere. Like there's telekinesis or something that has like merged with you, and you feel another presence inside of your mind. This you can resist that effect, but you are effectively being possessed.
Okay. I don't think I want to be possessed as a silver wing, so I'll try to fight it.
Okay. I'd say that would be a resolve check.
Resolve check, okay. Sorry, what do I put on the end for it?
R for
R?
resistance.
Okay.
Okay. So that only costs you 1 willpower. You're able to completely eject this astral spirit from your mind. You hear it whispering, "But they're mine," as it sort of escapes out of your ear hole, and you just get this sense of like just desire for something, but you're not able to put your finger on it, but you are able to kind of feel the direction, and it's pulling you down, like pulling you inside your covens. There's something in there that spirit wanted.
You said they're tier 5?
Yes.
It's me. The spirit wants me.
So, 3 of the 6 people that you struck when you transformed fall off of the boat, I guess we'll call it, completely. So they just go sprawling off the side. And within a few seconds, you see them all sort of levitating back up and land on top of the boat again.
Dang it.
And you watch as everyone turns toward all of you, and they start letting down their shields one by one, as one of the people who lands on the front of the boat waves her hand and says, "It's fine, it's fine." And she sort of walks over to Seth as a silver wing, and it gives you a really detailed look over.
What
And
is this?
she puts out her hand to touch you, but she waits for you to respond before she touches you.
I think Steph will kind of give her like a weird eye and then do the thing that cats and dogs do, like lean into the hand.
Okay. She puts her hand on your forehead and you feel this sort of pulse go through your body, and it doesn't really seem like it had any effect on you. And then you notice that you can't hear Jack anymore.
No.
You can't hear Jack.
Thank God. No.
I just got
Your
that.
gift.
I hope you'll be here
no.
all week. Yeah, and then that sort of magic whooshes back through the rest of you. It sort of comes in through your ears, and you all feel the presence of Jack in your telepathic bond. He sort of withers away in your heads. You can't hear him anymore.
I don't like that.
Were you under the spell of some fae? Don't worry, I took care of it for you. You have to watch them.
What?
They're terrible tricksters. Especially that one. Just shakes her head no.
Do you want to see him?
He's down there with all the pigeon shit on him.
Wait. And she points over at him. You made a statue of Jack? What, do you worship him?
Oh, that is him.
Okay, she looks at you wide-eyed, and then a wave of laughter sweeps through all of them, and some of them are literally on the floor laughing. And one of them says, request shore leave, and she just waves her hand, and several of them hop off the boat to go over and inspect the statue.
I yell at them not to break my statue. Don't break him.
They won't. I'm sure they'll be less than respectful, but they
That's
wouldn't
fine.
do any harm. And yeah, you see
We
them
don't respect him either.
Yeah. They literally go over and spit on his statue. So she apologizes and says, I have to apologize. We didn't mean the apparent harm we seem to have caused by showing up here. But your reputation led us to believe that our deaths would have been swift had you wanted to end us.
You just have to be nice. That's all. Just be nice.
That's the rule.
We don't generally eat people who aren't nice.
Good vibes only.
She points at her robes and looks at you like you don't know who we are. But you don't. So actually, if all of you will, well, actually, let's just roll Covenant.
Okay, are you gonna do it? Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it. Okay. You weren't sure before, but with the negativity they seem to have toward the Fae, the robes, the apparent level of magical skill they have, you think you're dealing with the keepers of the old ways.
That's who I thought it was.
Are an apparently ancient group of witches who claim descent from druids. They are one of the most powerful, pretty much as far as congregations
And they
go.
thought we could just kill them? That's very flattering.
Well, we've killed quite a few thus far. Perhaps not then, but...
And we do have Jack Spiderstripe as a statue.
Yeah. So she asks, could we maybe talk inside your coven stead? just me. The rest won't cause you any trouble.
So it's only Jack that's gone out of our telepathic bond, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I can relay this message to everybody else that
Yeah.
this lady person,
Lady.
okay, wants to parlay inside with us.
Can I move at this point, or am I still trapped in this telepathy thing that's going on?
You are being telepathically held about 6 inches off the ground. After some wiggling around, you eventually are able to get your footing on the ground and you're able to move around as normal. Especially once that spirit's out of your head, gravity seems to be acting relatively on you.
So I'm curious as to why they're here and what they want. So
Obviously, they just admire our work.
somebody wants something. So
Yeah, so
I'm going to invite them in.
you want to bring them all into one of your upper level rooms? Maybe
Yeah,
your dining
definitely
area?
definitely not going to the basement.
Yeah, Rebecca, you missed Seth being possessed by an astral spirit for a split second. Seemed to be a spirit of maybe gluttony or desire or something like that. Though she resisted difficulty. Okay.
Always time for more possession.
Yes. There could be.
Happy to give you one later.
Alright. When you all get down into your dining area, tells you her name is Anthema. That is sort of a best thing. The closest she can think of would be like a scout. They are a group that is very, very worried about the Fae influence on other witches. And they're always worried that the Fae are getting into witches' business without any of the witches knowing sort of the true cost of what they're signing away. But they came here specifically at the behest of an astral spirit that they have been in talks with for quite some time that claims to be an elder, uh, a witch from a past age, and she claims that has finally located some of her belongings at this location. She sent these witches to retrieve them. It's a hat, a broom, third item.
I have a cape.
Yeah, that's right. A hat, a broom, and a cape.
Well, they are not getting my cape. We have formed a bond.
That this witch lays claim to those items as her possessions that have been wrongfully taken from her for almost an
She's dead, correct?
She claims not, and Seth might be able to tell you that the description that you're hearing does feel like the spirit that you heard in your head for a moment. But might need some more investigation, the astral, to be able to say for sure. Apparently, she claims to be trapped in the astral, but wants her belongings back.
What is she? For what? What is she gonna do with them? She doesn't have a head to put a hat on.
That was not their concern. Their concern was returning property to its proper owner.
Well, how do you plan on returning it to a spirit? A physical item to a spirit. How are you gonna do that?
Sorry. They would be returned to her progeny. And hopefully get back to her if she ever finds a way to exit astral. Seeing as her body was destroyed about 200 years ago.
So she's dead.
Yeah, can't they just be happy that they're getting good use? Like, we're using them for good rebellious things.
It's salvage.
Pirate law.
The witch in front of you, Anthema, seems to fully understand your position, but she tells you that she can't negotiate on the other witch's behalf. And so if you permit her to enter here, we'll let her possess her body, and then you can communicate with her.
Okay.
Okay. In that case, we'll take a quick break. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone, to Nightsky Sanctum. And where we left off or the coven was sitting around the dining room table of their covenstead, talking to Anthema, a witch who is from Keepers of the Old Ways. Says she is working on behalf of an astral spirit that wants its artifacts back. As she got permission for the spirit to enter her body, we went to break. So you see what looks like a white smoke trail sort of congeal above her head in a halo shape, and then it spins faster and faster, and then gets sucked up into her nose and mouth, and you see her eyes glaze over, and she begins to talk in a different voice. She now has a Scottish accent, which I will not be. And speaking to you and getting a good look over the rest of the group. So if you guys could describe where you are, sort of where you are in the room, what you're doing as this is going on, so we get an idea of that. Start with Elise.
Well, Elise wasn't in the room, so I suppose this is her making her entrance.
Okay.
Seeing some other smoke trails up in the air as she brings her own, which is decidedly less white. More of a toxic, unhealthy-looking greenish-gray.
What's Seth doing? What form are you in? And
At this point, we're going into the actual Covenstead, right?
yeah, in your
So
little
I think
dining area.
if I'll just revert back to normal fish Seth at this point,
Okay.
so I can actually fit inside the Covenstead.
Okay. And Yara?
Yarrow's in the corner of the dining room, just ferociously hugging and petting her cape. Her cape.
And Hollis?
I suppose she's probably sitting at the table, in a chair, feet dangling.
In a booster seat.
It's a pillow.
Okay. So, yeah, she's glancing around the room, looking at you, and you notice that the fact that you all have such varied heritages, um, very
Oh,
loud
that was
vehicle out here. You notice that she is paying particular attention to the fact that everyone but Elise has a very strong heritage. So she's kind of, glancing around and kind of more than a little surprised by how you all look. Apparently, this was less common in her time. But she does fixate on her cape that is in the room. And she folds her hands and puts them down on the table and says, "Make your case."
I thought you
Damn
weren't
it.
going to
I
try,
did
darling. It's hard to resist, isn't it?
It is hard to resist.
Yarrow just starts word vomiting and just like talking about the cape and how they formed this bond, and the cape loves her too, and to separate us now would just and she's just back there just jabbering.
Okay.
It's just, you don't have a body. Like, you can't use these things. We are making very good use of them
Always.
to, yeah, we absolutely are. To, further the good of which kind. You should be proud of how your work is still being in use all these years later.
Does anyone else have a piece? Who has the hat? Okay.
Almost.
Okay. Okay. So, fast talk is usually a sway roll. Nice. Are you
Perfect.
interested in doing that as Yarrow? Or do you want to maybe some kind of group action? Then Seth or Elise want to jump in with an argument or power?
Trying to think what I can do.
I'm trying to think of a better argument than you physically can't wear these items. Because everything else sort of pales in comparison to the fact that they're literally unusable.
But we
Right.
are using them for good reason. We do liberate a lot of beings. We have used them. They've come in handy and saved our lives here and there. So. You'd be putting us at a great disservice if we let go of these right now. That's my argument.
If she wanted them so bad, she should have gone to the museum herself and gotten them.
Okay.
We did all the hard work.
So let's do a roll and see how well that all works out for you.
Like, would that be a sway?
It's up to you guys. And however you want to do it. If you want to do it as like a single action with a bonus die from an assist, or if you want to do a big group action again, try to just completely overwhelm her with facts and logic.
I mean, that works in politics.
And by that you mean talking too quickly.
That too. That could make an interesting group sway.
The Ben Shapiro approach. Doesn't have to be true, you just have to say it louder and faster than everyone else.
Ask the Astral Witch if she has a WAP.
What?
WAP? I don't know what it means. Something about Ben
Oh.
Shapiro.
I know what it means. Who proposed that?
I don't know. Something Ben Shapiro related. Or the opposite of Ben Shapiro.
Ah, yes.
Okay. What are you guys interested in doing?
I think a group sway sounds most practical.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to lead that?
I think since I was word vomiting, I can lead that, even though I have 0 sway, but I have ways to buff myself right now on those
Nice.
things.
Okay.
My sway is atrocious as well. I have one.
I have one as well.
Wow.
So I'm gonna pop 2 willpower so I can at least get 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do multiple things. I think I'm gonna pop 2 willpower, also in essence to get another die. And then I do have 2 Fey fruits. Can I use a Fey fruit for another one?
Oh my goodness. This is like
Or
stacking
no,
like plus
yeah,
4s, like Uno.
I could just do the 2.
Yeah. I know exactly what it means. Sorry, chat. I was just being silly. But as plants, exactly. No, I was being adorable. Yeah, so a Fey Fruit generally gives you an extra downtime action. We don't actually have rules for how they could be used to give a bonus to an action. It probably wouldn't be worth it for a single action, so.
Yeah, I think 2 would be okay because considering
Overkill.
I have 0, it's better than 0.
Yeah. Alright. So that's going to cost Yarrow 1 willpower to start it, and then everybody can make their rolls. Ooh!
Well, my goodness.
Oh, Meg. Seth just pulled through.
Wow.
Well, It didn't really matter that I rolled at the end there.
Okay.
It was not really doing better than apparently the most charming one of us is the fish.
Yeah.
What can I say? It's the fish lips.
Yeah.
Mm.
So Hollis, I think what happens is she senses the greed, the desire to keep those two items coming from you, and you rolled a 3. So I think that's kind of what she, whether you feel it or not, that's what she's like attached herself to as far as you're concerned. And so even though you said the most that makes the most sense, she just completely tunes you out.
You just wanted too much.
So, however, maybe I'm thinking maybe she had a best friend or something who was a Nerid or who looked like Seth. And so, at the exclusion of nearly everyone else, she is purely listening to Seth. And you got a critical, so the intent there was to just sort of get her off you guys' backs and make her leave you alone. I think she counteroffers with, I'll let you retain these items that do rightfully belong to me for a year and a day. And if I manage to get a body, then we will renegotiate terms. But for now, I'm willing to let you continue to own and use them for a year and a day.
Okay.
And
I have a bit of a counter proposal.
What's that?
I have a bit of a counter proposal.
Okay.
We could get her a body in return for permanent ownership. We could bring her back permanently into the natural world.
And we actually did.
He kind of looks around and, like, if anybody can, it might be the 4 of you. And her eyes close, and you see steam emerge from her ears, and it forms a halo again, and then dissipates into ether. And the witch stands up from the table, pulls a pin from her cloak, and reaches over to Seth. She first pricks her finger, and then reaches out to prick yours.
I let her do it.
She stabs your finger with the needle, and then touches your 2 beads of blood together, and then fireworks.
No, we're in love. No.
Romantic.
You do feel like you have, you basically have a material link to her for the purposes...
And potentially hepatitis.
Yeah. For the purposes of any spell you might cast soon. Maybe for the next...
Right.
And she waves her hands, and you feel that sort of, there was like this sort of denseness in your telepathic connection that seemed to be pushing out Jack. And she just sort of raises her hand, and that lifts, and you can hear Jack in the background. He's been mumbling about stuff literally the entire time. And I don't think
Sorry.
he noticed that you all weren't there.
He's just explaining the plot of Dirty Dancing. Super bored, going through like Reddit pages.
Yeah.
Actually, everyone's probably still spitting on outside. He's like, why is no one getting them off?
No one's mopping this up.
Someone help, the birds are coming.
I mean, that is a graveyard. That is kind of disrespectful, and I'm a little offended by that. I'll make sure they understand that.
You're gonna talk to their leader as she is leaving, or?
Yeah. But, like, your dudes have been spitting in my cemetery, and that's unacceptable.
She looks at you and she's like, I agree. I apologize on their behalf, and if you'd like to come outside, I'll make sure they all make up for what they've done.
Ooh.
Okay.
She ushers you outside, and she has everybody that was out on shore leave come up to address you and them. And she turns away from them, looks at the four of you, smiles, and then casts a spell, and all of the spit that they spat leaps off of the statue and jumps back into their mouths.
Ooh.
We knew
Just
that statue was already covered in bird doo-doo. So,
Could have just relocated it to the nearby ocean.
Or just on their faces. That would have been fine, too. It didn't have to go in their mouths.
went back where it came from. It was just the easiest. Alright, yeah, disgusting.
Thanks, Gavin.
Someone's into it.
They roll down a ladder, a rope ladder from the boat, and they all start tearfully climbing back up to leave. Gonna need to leave you some way to get into contact with them. I guess the blood droplet is probably good enough.
Would that
Jeez,
material link I have work? Like if I just made myself bleed at some point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, unless there's anything you need from them, they are ready.
Good. They should go.
My
We
goodness.
have a portal open in the basement.
Oh,
Who
yeah.
knows what could have crawled out while we were gone?
Yeah.
We don't leave the oven on, we leave the portal on.
I'm gonna make a 3-die fortune roll. We're gonna see what happened while you guys were dealing with other things. Alright.
There's a hell home in the basement now.
Looks like we lost a Zaelwyn there.
I know.
Everybody's been
no.
having internet issues today. Twitch has been acting up, and some other issues.
Can you hear me
so.
still?
Yeah, actually, we
That
can
one's
hear you
just
still.
jumped into the
Yes.
I think
that one's just
my-
jumped into the underground, the underworld already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the upside down right now. No, I think my stuff is just overheating a little bit.
I don't
Oh,
have
yeah,
to see
that
you in
makes sense.
Discord, but I can't see you on the other screen.
Yeah, it's weird. I can see there too.
Oh,
Here, really quick, let me just turn it off and on.
yep, you're back.
Oh, there we go.
Not so bad.
Celebrate Zoan's return with spinning cats.
Yes,
Spinning
please.
cat. I will never miss an opportunity to spin a cat.
There we go.
So, nothing too bad happened while you were away. However, you do have a group of looky-loos that are all standing just on the inside of the portal, waiting for you to return. So when you get back, you can see sort of a maybe 2 dozen or so people standing just inside of the portal. Some of them trying to put their hands through it, but it's apparently some like a solid wall to them. Not able to.
Good to know. I'll poke my head in and tell everybody to back up.
All right.
I need to get some more information so I'm more scary.
You gonna do fearsome omens?
I don't know if that'll work on underworld spirits. They see weird shit all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe become as normal as possible using fearsome omens. Terrify them.
Scary.
They think that someone from the IRS is coming in.
Khaki socks and sandals.
Auditing the underworld.
Okay. So
That's a fun
want to conduct a quick undertaking into the underworld? Like
To grab components.
what's that?
To grab components.
That could be interesting. Some underworld, yeah, components of magical in nature. Yeah, and then give everybody a chance to sort of see what it's like. And okay, what do you want to use for that? Do you want to just do arcane and this portal as the
Yeah,
method and detail?
that sounds good to me.
In that case, I'll make a engagement roll. You didn't open it to a. You said you opened it near the river Styx, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I give you a 3 dice engagement roll, being that it is roughly the same tier as you. Okay. So when you poke your head inside and you tell people to back off, most of the people do. There are people carrying water from the river and things like that. So it looks like everybody that was sort of here doing a job or traveling, all of those people sort of back off. But there are a couple of people here who are half rotting, and they seem a little more aggressive. And as the other people fan out, the two of them are whispering and chittering to each other, and they're still standing relatively close to the opening of the portal.
Okay. I guess. I mean, they just look like regular people.
They are, unlike everyone else, they are pretty rotten looking.
Okay.
They look like rotting corpses. So yeah, everyone else looks normal.
Who'd you piss off?
Okay, so Hollis, are you going to be the first one in?
Yeah.
Okay. So they both turn toward you, and one of them says, "I was right," and holds up a bony finger and rushes toward you. "You hold her arms," he yells back to the other one. The two of them rush you to overpower you. Would you like to do?
I'm gonna brawl them.
Okay.
They're like rotting corpses, or they're like standard human sized people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play to my size and kind of do like go for their legs.
Okay. And what are you trying to do to them in particular?
I guess just take them off their feet, knock them
Okay.
over. I'm gonna bowling ball kind of situation.
Okay.
Hollis's specialty.
Run
Okay.
fast, hit the ankles.
See if
Yes.
Hollis can get a second split today.
I think that's going to be risky and standard effect. I would say normally it would be reduced effect because there's two of them, but because you're making use of your goblin heritage, then
Okay.
yeah, it'll raise it back up to standard effect.
Okay. Ooh.
Oh no. Okay. Looks like you're gonna have to resist some consequences.
Okay.
You go
Or you
low.
might end up possessed.
You go low, and as soon as you've rolled past one of them, the other sort of dodges you to the side. The one that didn't have his finger at the ready grabs you by the back of your clothes and picks you up off the ground. And he's got a surprising amount of strength for what looks like he's missing 3/4 of the muscle on his body. He just yanks you up off the ground, and the other one comes in with his finger, and he just starts raking his finger down the center of your chest. You can choose to resist either of those or both of those effects.
I'm not.
Okay. Okay. So the first one picks you up and gets you off the ground, and the second one starts cutting you from sternum to belly button with the tip of his finger. It burns like fire as he touches you, and you actually feel it's like you're being autopsied while you're still alive. And your chest starts to split open, and he is definitely going to go in for some of your organs if he can get to them. You are taking level 2 harm.
Okay.
Chest split.
Dang, all this is happening. It's not even Hollis's birthday. They're just like,
Oh
oh.
no.
All right. You want to let somebody else pop in through the portal?
Yeah, somebody come save me.
Yeah. So is the position desperate?
It's actually desperate for her, but risky for anyone else.
Okay, so if it's not desperate for me, then am I still able to use lightning weaponry?
Absolutely, you are, yeah.
Okay, I want to... what are the limitations for that? Like, am I allowed to use that in addition to a shapeshift for an attack? It just says, gain the element of surprise, gain +1 damage and +1 effect.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. You may shapeshift an attack. Oh, it helps if I read.
It's all right. And you can normally you can do your normal shape shifting, but since you have like your mythical shape shifting, you can use that if you're willing to spend the extra essence.
Okay.
So when you did your mythic shape shifting before, I think we determined that the Silverwing is a tier 3 mythical creature.
Yeah, I think
Do you
so.
remember what we had as far as its peak got? The part that
I have a bone.
Okay.
It was heart will be found in the Under Museum, so I had a little piece of that.
Okay. Go ahead and mark that down as tier 3.
Yeah.
And then every time you shapeshift into that, it'll cost you 3 essence.
Okay.
It cost you 3 before to turn into it.
Okay.
And I just wanted to get that out of the way because I don't think we had.
No, we didn't
specifically
address
talked
that,
about
so I'll
it.
make sure that's ticked now.
Cool.
Make sure it's consistent.
Did we ever establish what the Eldritch Worm Monster tier was? The ones we had exercised from the children.
I think we could go tier 4.
4, okay. So, you might not do that one.
No, you don't want to hop through the portal, turn into a shuggoth, and rip apart these monsters.
That sounds too cool.
That would be really cool. So sorry, how are they holding on to Hollis right now? One's pinning her and one's doing an autopsy.
One's got her by the back of her clothes, so I don't know what she's wearing precisely, but I assume the back of her shirt.
You know what? Heck with it. Yeah, I'll pop the 4, and I'll turn into the Eldritch Worm Monster, and come in to try to infect them and help out Hollis.
Awesome.
Using my lightning weaponry. So does that mean, because it's tier 4, so that's 4 essence for that, and then lightning weaponry itself is 1 essence, so 5 altogether?
5 altogether. Okay. And then whatever you end up doing, it gives you an increased effect level and +1 die.
Okay.
And if you want to use dire form, then that can counter the fact that there are 2 of them. Though really, depending on what you're doing, that might not even be necessary.
Just because I only have 2 essence left, and dire form requires 1 more essence, I'd rather not trauma out once I get through the door. So
I have impart essence. Can I eat one of the essence in the last of my my horn can?
Yeah. So once you guys are back in a controlled situation, Yarrow can pull essence from people and reallocate it. So yeah, they could help you out and give you back some essence. Plus, you don't trauma out from essence, only from willpower, so you can run out of essence and still be completely fine. Still able to shapeshift and that.
Okay.
Alright, just whatever you want to do, really.
So I would like to go through the portal, shapeshift into this worm monster thing. I can't remember how we described it. Do you have a description or anything, Kevin?
You remember, like, Gozer from Ghostbusters? 4-legged beast, massive, like, dog jaws. That, but then on top of that, a bunch of writhing, black, thick tentacles. They start out about a little under a foot around at the base, at your shoulders, and trail down after about 8 feet or so to just a few inches around, sort of like a medium-sized octopus tentacle. And they are very stretchy, so even though they only have about 6 to 8 feet of length to them, they can double that as far as reaching out to grab something.
Okay. Yeah. And then I still have to do a roll to figure out what I want to do.
Yep.
In this attack.
Yeah. So you declare what you want to do in the fiction, and then what action you want to use.
Okay. So while I'm jumping through the portal, how far? Hollis is right at the portal.
Pretty close, yeah.
Okay. So in that case, I want to come, if it's possible, I want to come barreling through and essentially stand on the one that is holding Hollis, maybe scratch him up a little bit, and then just take a chomp out of this other guy that's trying to cut Hollis open.
Okay.
Or has succeeded in cutting Hollis open.
Right. Okay. You can make that roll. What do you want to use for that?
I don't know if a spring or a brawl is more appropriate. I guess they can see us through it, so maybe a brawl.
They
But I
might be
am
distracted.
okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Since I'm going for two of them, I might do finesse to try to land on the one and get the other.
Okay, yeah, that makes
If
sense.
that makes sense.
It's yeah, with all those tentacles, it is kind of finessey to do all the different things with the
We'll
tentacles.
see if I
in the
trip
mouth.
myself on my own tentacles.
Sounds good. And don't forget, you get +1 die and increased effect, so that's going to be
Right, I gotta include that.
risky standard effect.
Yeah. Are you serious?
Wow. So the underworld is not kind to you all.
That was so majestic.
you rush in, and nice. Isabella threw an assistance flashback your way. I think what that effectively means, since you already rolled, is let's give you an extra die and see if you can pull that one out, if you're willing.
Okay, so just do that same roll again?
No. So first off, come up with, think back to a time when maybe you have transformed into this thing in the past, or when you fought it the first time, or some kind of flashback that you have that gives you a little
I don't
insight.
think they've actually used it before.
But they might have outside of a session, so not on screen. Or a time that you fought with creatures like this before. And if you're able to come up with something that gives you a bonus, we'll let you roll 1 die to add to what you already have.
I'm trying to think if maybe it's something in regards to the handling of the creature.
Yeah, maybe.
Like someone going from a truck to a boat, like the turning's different. Like maybe it's just really hard to control this body shape. And Zeph's only been in the underworld once before. So maybe that on top of potentially maybe that I was having weird gravity things before, so maybe I'm having something with that. So maybe Zeph is a little bit more aware of how to kind of control the creature's limbs.
Yeah, you've
just
been
know that they have to counteract, like, I don't have traction, so maybe go a little slower. Or
yeah, you've been a lot of sea creatures before with tentacles, but you've never. You're usually not on land or on solid surfaces very often. So
that's true. Yeah, it's like a different terrain now. So it's like, oh, okay, I'm not squishy. What do I do?
All right, so you can roll 1 die, action roll, and see if that helps. Add that to the 1333.
So sorry, I'm just doing one die. I'm not doing in addition to what. Okay, just want to make sure.
And it's a 1.
That's also a failure.
Okay. So you come flying out, and you land with a huge thud, and you're like, I gotta get the traction right. I've gotta, whip out this tentacle. But as soon as you hit the ground, there's sulfur just coating the ground, and it just starts burning your legs and your tentacles. It looks like this form maybe is just the sort of in some way the opposite of the nature of this beast that you've become, and it just starts burning you, and you sort of roll over on your side, and it almost forces you to turn back into your normal shape.
I'm having like a baking soda and vinegar reaction to the underworld.
As your tentacles just start sizzling off in the weird and some kind of weird chemical reaction.
Hey, but we learned a thing. If this ever happens again, we just portal these creatures to the underworld and.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, good point.
Is this working as a distraction for Hollis now?
Absolutely.
Somebody else get in there.
So what I'm gonna say is
God.
because that was risky, but you used that lightning weaponry thing, the two of them don't have a chance to react to you, so they don't like jump on you or anything yet. However, we'll just count the fact that you spent so much essence on that action as sort of the penalty. You
Okay.
don't regain any of that essence.
Very expensive.
Yeah.
Me-
And now you're stuck back in Ceph form, at least for now. Alright, so I think it's going to be up to Hollis to save herself for just a moment, and then Yarrow and Elise come through the portal.
Okay. Where's my mouse?
I'm right here.
No. My mouse. I can switch between screens. Or I can't find it. There it is. Because I was on the wrong character sheet. I was looking at the Coven sheet.
Captain, how much harm should I mark on my sheet after all that?
I was thinking just level 1 harm. You mostly shapeshift out of it.
Okay.
Stop the
Like scorched or something, or
yeah, sounds good. Scorched.
okay.
Scorched Pete's.
Scorched Pete's. Sorry to interrupt.
Your little Pete's got scorched.
Sorry I put that entry. I just wanted to make sure I had that on there.
Yeah. Are these spirits or are they corpses?
They are definitely physical corpses. They seem to have some kind of magical powers because of the way he didn't actually touch you when he cut into you.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking if I animate corpse, since they're corpses, I could just put something else in them to take over so they don't hurt me anymore. Would that work? Is that a thing?
It's absolutely worth a try. It'll work based on the roll.
Okay, let's see. I need to spend an essence and make a focus roll.
Alright, and then what's the intent?
I want to reanimate this animated corpse.
You're basically trying to possess him with another...
A spirit that will listen to me. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna go for the one who's cutting.
Okay. That makes sense.
So that he doesn't cut me anymore.
I'm gonna say risky and reduced effect. But, you know.
I'm gonna pop 2 willpower and try to increase effect.
Okay. Risky and standard effect, then.
Okay.
Now, you can also up it to desperate and take it up to extreme effect if you want.
How do I do that?
So instead of spending willpower, you can always increase the difficulty or increase the risk to get extra effect. Your choice, obviously. You could even do both. So right now it's risky standard.
Yeah. Yeah, let's put it up to desperate so I get super effective?
Extreme effect.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm still rolling the 3 dice.
Yeah.
For my focus.
Yep.
Okay. Be good to me, dice. Oops.
Okay, that's a partial success.
They were kind of good.
Yeah. So
I did a nice little palate cleanse for you.
Yeah.
So let's see. For the partial, I think it just brings it back down to standard effect. But that means that you get exactly what you wanted. It's gonna take a few seconds for it to sort of work. So what mind do you want to use? Have any friends down here?
Naomi.
Okay. All right.
Let's put her in there.
Awesome. He sort of blinks. Only one of his eyelids is still attached. So he like blinks, and his eyes flutter, and then he kind of stumbles backward and looks at himself, and seems really confused about where he is. And then he immediately just reaches into the back of the other creature and rips out its heart. And it drops you.
That's my girl.
Then everybody else pops through. That's when you see the winged demons circling overhead. You're like,
We're not playing Stranger Things.
they're either bigger than human sized or they're much closer than they look.
Mm.
Well, I was worried when I came in here and saw these corpses that you had had all the fun without me, but evidently that is not the case.
How bad is this wound? It's level 2?
Level 2, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we can patch that up, can't we, darling?
Yeah. I'll just throw a band-aid on it. It'll be fine. Those are butterfly band-aids.
Yeah, your some of your organs are threatening to slip out, and you are bleeding quite profusely.
Elise will approach Hollis and attempt to use Healthy Glow. I don't know how well that'll work in the underworld.
Yeah, let's make a roll. You can choose the roll, since there isn't usually one required.
Plastic focus makes sense because it's magic, doesn't it?
I like that.
See how well Elise can focus within an entirely different dimension.
A risky standard.
The partial success at a 4.
Okay. I don't think the healing energy doesn't quite come to you as easily here. But you're able to focus it and get it into Hollis. You want to describe?
Yes. Elise pulls her new, beautiful cigarette holder up to her mouth and inhales smoke and attempts to blow it directly into Hollis's chest. But the way that the smoke moves within the underworld perhaps is not what Elise is used to. And so perhaps a smaller, it still gets there, but not quite as effectively as I might have hoped.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Not quite as potent as you had hoped. I think.
Might bring it down to lesser damage without healing completely.
How about you just have to spend more essence to get it
That works.
work? All right, that'll reduce the level 2 harm down to a level 1 harm.
Nice.
It mostly closes up.
How
And the
much
bleeding.
essence do
You notice that the blood from the wounds is not dropping to the ground. It's sort of evaporating off of you. And it's sort of becoming a part of the area. And you notice that the demons that are flying overhead seem to be attracted to it, like blood in the water. Shark. And that is, notice that you are the center of the circle that they're flying around. They're like underworld vultures.
There's no more blood. Go away. I'm not dead
Sharks
yet.
up. Did someone say shark?
But the four of you are unhindered, and it looks like, Hollis, you managed to get what you came for. Your girlfriend is in the body of this revenant.
Why not to get her a
let's
better
see.
body? That one's looking a little bit.
I don't
Yeah.
know what Hollis. Hollis might be into it.
Yeah, I wanted better or not different components. I don't want revenant parts.
Right.
So,
But
if we
We
just
could kill one of those demons. Or a couple.
yeah.
water from the river Styx.
Yeah, that sounds more up my alley.
Okay.
I have that friend called Sticks.
Oh yeah. Gonna start a 4 o'clock based on the blood in the water.
Mm-hmm.
At which these demons will feel like it is time to come down and try to make a meal of you.
Okay.
I hand Hollis one of the little clay jars that we had crafted. That way she has a little container with some magical essence.
Ah, nice.
Well, I am going to take that container and run as fast as I can down to the bank of the river and stick it in and let it fill up.
Right. Okay. I'd say with these demons around, and of course the danger of touching the water yourself, this is going to still be risky, but it'll
Okay.
be standard effect. Those clay jars, are they just resistant to consequences, or is there something particular about them?
I
I
think
mean,
we had
we're,
it to where if we could write the name of whatever it is on there that it contains.
yeah, we used it to hold a big scary thing.
Oh, okay.
We're just gonna fill it with river water.
Okay. So it's not okay. It's just a vessel. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's just had to be made magically to be able to hold anything magical.
Yeah.
Alrighty. What do you
Because
think?
we don't have a pottery wheel.
I think finesse would make sense.
Finesse.
Yeah, or maybe spring if you're trying to get down there and get back quickly.
Mm, let's see. Well, either one, because I have the same amount of dots in both of them.
Well, it's just what it looks like in the fiction is what you determine
Yeah,
that.
that's what I'm thinking. Um,
Well, can I use spring and assist and basically use alacrity at the same time? Literally just like grab Hollis onto my horns and alacrity both of us down there. I just figure she has a better chance of handling water from the river Styx being a baba.
Yeah, she definitely knows the difficulties of the situation and how to be careful. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Alacrity as a assist. So one
And then like
willpower, one essence.
and then also yeah, like we can do like a spring or whatever and I'll lead it because basically I'm just like, you know what, we're just gonna go get it.
Okay.
I got you.
All right. So is Yara leading that?
Yeah, because I'm not giving Hollis any time to decide whether she wants to grab these horns or not. I just go and basically like lift. It's like, let's go. I am reckless.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, you guys can both roll. That'll cost 1 willpower from you.
I got you. Oh,
And I take
Yaro's
a.
roll includes a 6.
Okay, sweet. I won't do that.
Oh, and Seth got. And Hollis got a 1. Okay. So, I think what this means is that Yarrow gets you down to the river's edge, but the clay pot goes tumbling into the water. You are, if you have some way of getting it back, it'll be full. But are too reticent to reach your hand in.
All right,
Okay.
can I use greater telekinesis and just lift it out?
Yep. Yeah, just spend the essence, and we don't need to make a roll for that.
Okay.
I was gonna rip that revenant's arm off and use it to get it out.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. We don't need to do all that. We'll just lift it. I'm like, not in my jar. I spent so much time making that.
Okay. 2 of the demons come flying down toward Elise and Seth. And they look like they're just they're humanoid. They're about 7 feet tall with about a 12 to 14 foot wingspan. And large horns. Black skin with reddish markings between the sort of musculature, and they look like they are merely there to prevent you from assisting Hollis and Yarrow, as the third is diving toward them with incredible speed while they are attempting to get the pot back out. So, Yarrow, you have the pot and you've telekinetically raised it out of the water. When the 2 of you hear a screaming noise, and of course, are warned by Seth and Elise telekinetically. But you hear the sound of, basically, the sound of it diving makes this sort of whistling scream as it is diving.
Well, I'm just gonna yell out destroy then. I
I
don't think die would work. I don't think my newest one, I can just look at somebody and say die. That was another project that I completed in downtime.
Yeah,
But I don't know if die would work down
I
here.
think
So
die might actually be the right call, rather than destroy. Destroy usually
okay.
works on inanimate objects, and while die
Okay.
isn't perfect for the underworld, it's probably better in this.
Like whatever die means for you. There we go. All right. So what was it? Words of power is focus, and then I have to spend 3 essence because that is a big one. Took a second.
Oh
Oh no.
no.
Me and these power words we don't play well.
Okay. Um, you see your power word go right like into its ears, but maybe it's the screaming sound that it's making is maybe all that it can hear, and so it just sort of passes right over it. You're not sure, it might work in the future, but you're not entirely sure whether or not it was its own nature that resisted it, or maybe that it just couldn't hear it at the time. Um, but it turns ever so slightly, and instead of aiming for Hollis, it aims for you and tries to knock you backward into the river.
Well, I tossed the jar to Hollis immediately. It's like you gotta take this stuff, and let's. I don't know if I could telekinetically just like pull myself back up.
Hmm. It hasn't hit you yet, so it's you get you or anybody else can take an action.
Oh, I can just alacrity us back, can I?
You absolutely can. Just be not there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna pick up Hollis as I go.
Right. This time I am gonna ask for a roll,
Yeah.
because Hollis has a clay bottle full of river water.
Let's do, I guess, another spring, because
Okay.
I do have to spring pretty quickly into action. Spring into action. Oh no, I hope, what's up?
You got a 6.
Well, I can alacrity, okay?
All right.
Just don't expect me to speak. This is real life now.
You get to describe that.
Yeah, so basically, instead of actually trying to like snatch with the horns this time, I like grab Hollis like a football and just like I just get going as fast as I can. I kind of Scooby-Doo run with my hooves. and I go towards Elise and Seth with both of us. That way we can rally the forces.
Okay. Your quick action is enough to the creature flies down to where you were, and then swiftly stops, its feet just barely missing the surface of the water, and it turns around and sort of does this disgusting throaty howl, and as it flies upward and howls at the other two take off with their wings and head back to the sky. Unless Elise or Steph want to do anything to them while they're there in front of you.
Well, I doubt my gun's all that useful.
You can always gather info too.
I feel as if Elise would probably not attempt to figure out too much, especially because it seems being a risk. Steph, however, being more formidable.
Sorry, so are they flying away from us, or they're still flying towards us?
Nope, they lift off and they follow the other one back into the sky. Unless you want to stop them, or you have a chance for a few seconds there if you want to check them out, or like Azaelin's gone again. Or if you want to use your grimoire sense or anything like that to get some information. Azaelin is her camera is her true angelic form. Be not afraid.
Now, if only it would have a bunch of eyeballs and stuff. So I'm gonna turn it off real quick, and then I'll
Okay.
need to restart.
If I were to do a focus with my grimoire sense to, with the same kind of idea of how I focused on Tina to impersonate her, would I be able to become one of these creatures, or is that more of a mythical transformation where I would need a piece of it because it's an underworld monster?
Yeah. You could impersonate it, as in you could look like one without gaining any of their abilities.
Okay.
With a good roll. But yeah, if you wanted, you would need a bit of one if you wanted to get a mythical transfer.
Okay. Well, considering my terrain transformation didn't go so well, I would like to get a get a read on these guys if I can with like a focus roll to see if I can at least have one form that I know is safe to use in the underworld.
Sure. Yeah, you'll basically be Seth, just taller and with wings that don't work very well.
That's okay.
But yeah, that's fine. You'd at least be able to pass undetected among them in the future.
Yeah, just like as a way to kind of blend it if it works. So loop focus, and we'll see how that goes.
Alright.
Ooh,
Complete
there
success.
we go. Being a little nicer today. That's nice. I'll
So,
mark
yeah.
that down that I can do that.
Would look indistinguishable from one. Good night, Isabella DeClan. Thank you so much for your short story. If anyone came here from that post, make sure to join us on Patreon, as the entire short story is available there. It's fantastic. Thank you so much for contributing that. Isabella has written, I think, at least 3 additional short stories as well, set in our world. So
Nice.
I'm excited to get to share those with you all in the.
Did you give these specific creatures a name, Gavin? Just so I can write it down?
I was thinking of them kind of as vulture demons.
Okay.
But yeah, if you were able to get like the pinky toe off of one of them, you could create a mythical transformation.
Okay.
You could actually gain flight and possibly some other unknown abilities.
Not that you really
So you're
need.
attracted to the blood, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they might be really good at tracking by blood and things like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, maybe we can use that ability to track down this little poison blood stuff we have.
Could I do dire form, turn myself into a giant bat, and attempt to just scratch one of them? Get a little bit
Yeah,
of skin, a little bit of blood.
yeah, for sure. You want to be a vampire bat and just a dire vampire bat and just drink some, get some
Sure,
of its
just
blood in your mouth.
get him with a curly straw just to get a nice big slurp.
Okay. What action
So
do you want to use?
I guess that's maybe a brawl. So I'm just trying to full on go in and like take a hunk out of him.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I'm gonna say risky standard, since you're going after one as it's fleeing. I think.
Okay. Here we go. See if I crash into the ground.
You did not. All right,
Yay!
that's a partial.
Awesome.
So let's see. I think for the partial success, you accidentally ingest some, since it's a new form. But you are also able to carry some in your mouth. You can resist that if you want.
No, I feel like that makes sense.
Okay.
And Steph's got that reckless trait, so I'm sure they were just guzzling.
All right. Let's call that level 2 harm.
Food poisoning.
Necrotized stomach.
Oh.
Necrotized stomach. Okay. Hollis is like, dang it! How come you get
I could
cool
have had
stuff?
that.
Necrotize me, Captain. That's all I can do.
Just poke it out like Seb's mouth. Give me some. Give me some. Baby, burn it into my mouth. What tier do we want to call these guys, just so I can make a note of that as well?
Let's call them tier 2.
Tier 2. Okay.
Ooh, a glyphus. Aegyphius. Greek god of vultures. Yeah, I like that.
Is that what we're calling it now?
Yes, thanks to Seraphina Felstar. AEG.
Alright. Yep.
YP.
Definitely have to slow down in chat so I can read that. AEGYPIUS.
She said, Edgy pious. Nice.
Edgy is
They were pretty edgy.
like my cropiness. Tier 2. Alrighty.
Awesome. Okay, so it sort of twists around in the air, and then the weight of you and the weight of it, and the way you're sort of pulling down on it, the two of you crash back into the ground. You don't take any, damage or anything like that, but you're sort of wrapped up with it, and it's going to take another action to sort of disengage with him.
Okay.
And remember, anybody can jump in.
So with my dire form still activated, am I guess that was just so I could like tear into him. So
Basically, dire form just costs you an extra essence for any action you want to take. That you want to dire. And if you run out of essence, you can still do things.
So are we just kind of tangled up in a mass of wings and legs on the ground right now?
Yep,
okay.
Exactly. It's got a wing wrapped around you. You've got your claws in it, or your wing claws, and you've got your mouth parts stuck in it.
My mouth part's stuck in it. Isolate that soundbite. Yeah, I think I might just shapeshift into a snake and try to get out of like the mass of limbs if that's possible.
Okay. Yeah,
just try to like wiggle my way out.
You want to?
Or apparently, chat wants me to be a pickle.
Pickle Seth.
I can't escape as a pickle, guys.
Funniest shit I've ever seen.
If you turn into a pickle, I can telekinesis you towards me and just grab you.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be a floating pickle.
Yes. They've never seen anything like it. They'll be stunned into silence.
I mean, if you want to, sure, I'll be a pickle.
I just want pickle stuff.
That'll cost you one essence.
I'll do it. I got one essence left.
All right, you're
I'm
out
a
of
pickle.
essence.
And
you
then
ask, you shall receive.
I get to pop an essence, and I'm going to do 2 willpower because I'm going to do my 3 die focus roll to telekinesis stuff out of there.
All right.
This is
just
definitely
throw her back
strange.
through the portal.
Yeah, so basically just come on. I'm just pulling out. I got both my hands out, just like trying to grab the pickle stuff.
Now Elisa's gonna feel left out. Like both Hollis and Yarrow have yeeted me this session.
It is a partial success.
The pickle goes hurling backward through the portal into the room that you guys came through, and smacks into the wall on what happens to just be a jagged part, and Pickle Seth gets completely mangled on the wall chunk, and is gonna take level 2 harm, broken back.
Well, we put all
pickle.
the pieces together first, and then Seth transform. Might have an arm out of place somewhere, but
am I just sliced pickle slices at this point?
You're like if you like crunch a pickle, but you don't like get it all the way through.
And relish.
Well, just relish the moment.
Just relish for the moment. Okay, so broken back.
Snapped pickle.
Bloody Rose White Wolf. Thank you. This is wonderful. Achieving my pickle dreams.
Seth has a snapped pickle. Level 2 harm. Okay. This creature that has just had its blood taken is out for vengeance now. And Yarrow and Hollis used your alacrity, so you were back near the portal, so that actually leaves Elise as the closest to the creature. So what would you like to do?
Well, I'd like to make direct eye contact with it before stepping into the portal with everyone else.
Okay. Do you want to like leave it a parting message kind of thing with your eyes?
I was thinking just smirk. Quite like those things.
Make it remember you.
Yes, well, I don't have anything personally against. They didn't attack me, and
Yeah.
certainly I'm not going to start being violent with them right now.
Okay. Well, I think
If they want to attack me, I mean, it will end poorly, but
to get out without being attacked again, the three of you will need to make a roll or use some kind of action.
So I had an idea.
Yeah.
Naomi is still inside of this revenant corpse.
Yeah.
So I was thinking I would have her go and stand in front of all of us to take
Okay.
the brunt of the demon attack.
Okay.
And then leave the revenant right before it gets hit, so it's the last thing that it sees is the demon coming for him, and we step out of the.
Nice. Okay. That
sacrifice
sounds.
that doesn't actually require sacrifice.
That sounds like what, a command roll to get her to follow your. Just have her make an action roll.
I guess it would just be her making an action roll.
Okay.
Just to be in the way.
Yeah. You can roll that. I think with animate corpse, it's 1 die.
Okay. Let's see.
4. Okay.
Ooh.
How about this? She doesn't make it out of the body before she gets hit. So she does feel some of the pain.
Feel some pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So this thing just reaches out, grabs a hold of her shoulders, lands, and then rips her in half. And yeah, you see the head kind of lull back, and you can still see her like consciousness in his eyes for a split second before she vanishes, and then by the time she's gone out of the corpse, the corpse is already bit it.
Yeah.
But the three of you are able to use that extra few seconds to exit the portal successfully. We're back in your Covenstead. And I didn't have to worry about whether or not you can bring a Revenant back with you.
I wasn't going to bring her back again. That's gross.
Yeah. Alright, that was a successful undertaking. You have water from the river Styx.
Pretty sweet.
What level component was that, I would say?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say it's just counts as a magical component. You'll be able to use it multiple times depending on what you're using it for. So if you needed to use it to make a artifact, you probably have enough to do that. If you needed to use it to make multiple charms, you probably have enough to do that many, many times.
I'm thinking maybe we'll use a little bit of that, a little bit of blood to give us like a protection charm for next time.
Oh yeah, that's massively protective against underworld threats. Wants to do drawing
also,
down.
give me a reason to use that workshop.
Yeah.
Not me. I used up all my 6s.
I'm a pickle, so
Pickle Seth.
Well, then I suppose I should have to do it because I do believe Yarrow did it.
Mhm.
Sounds right. Our chat
So,
going to town.
Oh no. So it's the boys episode option. Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I'm very confused. But, now we do it upstairs in the graveyard, or because that's where we're still performing most of our ritual. Or have we moved them down to the catacombs yet? I can't.
Either
Right.
or.
Well, let's do it here because we don't want to move the pickle round.
Someone just put a toothpick in me, hold me together.
So, I suppose Elise shall attempt to blow a rather massive smoke ring in which to perform the ritual, where she shall call upon powers that be to revitalize and replenish our bent body. Make it sound as unnecessarily lurid as possible. That is a DDTN,
It is.
and we are at Coven Tier 3 now, correct?
Indeed.
Yep.
Good. Plus,
Woo.
Hey, a 6.
Ooh.
yeah. I think we'll all be nice and refreshed after that.
That's 6 essence, 3 willpower. And for Yarrow, that is also 6 essence restored to your enchanted tool, your horns.
Ooh, well, that's a perfect recharge then.
Now you know the true power of those enchanted tools.
Yeah. Sweet.
They double up on essence regain. Or
Would recharge enchantments also, my grimoire power also do that, or
I think
Or is
that is what does that. But I'll have to look it up. Yeah, I'll look it up and make sure. So, downtime activities. Do you all want to start learning some of those lesser rituals to retune this portal?
yes, I
Yes.
do.
I think Elise and Hollis, at the very least, have the prerequisites for Astral and Underworld. And then as far as Shadow, you all might need an Animist.
Okay.
So you might want to look into seeing if you can get an Animist, maybe poach them away from a congregation or something like that, or get a contact, or
Nap one.
an expert.
Well, Rianne
What's that?
was Rianne was an animist.
Correct.
She's technically part of the coven.
Rian. Who's Rian?
My Appalachian story character.
Oh. Do you want to try to bring her in as an expert?
Sure.
That would be a coven upgrade.
Okay.
But then you'd have access to her all the time. Makes sense that you would know her because Elise has just made contact with Levi.
Yep.
Going to bring them all back into our coven. Manipulate them use their knowledge that they went and worked hard for.
Yep.
That won't cost any downtime action. Just get them you'll just need to get enough Coven XP to level up.
Okay.
Anybody else know of any downtime activities that you definitely want to partake in?
Yeah,
I
can
need to roll on my mushroom faction.
Okay.
I've got just a few more ticks, and then they're a faction.
Oh, awesome. Great, another faction I need to write up.
I'll write them up.
Oh, okay.
They're mine.
Yeah. I'm writing up the Red Caps this week. Finally. Red Caps United. You want to make that roll?
What do I need to roll? Focus?
Your choice. Player's choice.
Yeah, I think I've been using focus in that trying to focus on where they can go, what they can do, and how I can best establish them spiritually as well as physically.
Nice. How far are you from filling that clock?
7 out of 10.
Oh, okay. So a 6 will get it for you.
Okay. I didn't do
You want exclamation
There.
point 3F, but that's okay. You got a 6.
roll.
That's
Okay.
alright. You got a 6, so that's 3 ticks.
Okay.
They are
Yay!
officially a faction, tier 1. And
Yay!
you guys can
we
always...
need a little party for them.
Yeah, that'd be great. And you guys can always help factions raise their rating as well by doing jobs for them and things like that. So, if there are other groups that you want to empower, make them hardier, help them achieve their goals to sort of move them in a certain direction.
Like
Cyberotics.
pawns on a chessboard.
Yeah. Like Cyberotics, I would rather you guys work on doing this project instead of that project. That kind of thing. Yeah. Awesome.
We'll just get all the mushroom people up to tier 5 to please our patron.
We shall conquer all Manhattan with mushrooms.
Yeah. But yeah, this
No
is...
It'll be
pizza is safe.
Yeah, maybe they're gonna bring you some forbidden mushroom knowledge that's going to assist with what's gonna be happening over the next session.
They're gonna open our brains up to the mysteries of the universe.
Yeah. Ooh.
Mushrooms do have that effect.
Yeah. That's interesting.
My god, our entire faction is going to turn into psychonauts.
Actually, if you've ever watched Itty Bitty Kitty Committee, the other coven, their stuff started out a lot like Psychonauts, a mix between like Psychonauts and Persona 5, where they were going into people's minds and helping fix their problems. It was very interesting. Yeah, definitely something you can do in the game. They learned a lot of lesser rituals to help them with that stuff. Because it's not really built in, but it's absolutely something.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do Coven XP on stream. It's been a while, and we're gonna have to do it regardless. So help us hit that.
Marvelous idea.
I always like to have these little things on here so we can, if we need to refer back to them at any future. Okay, we did Coven XP. Check out season 2, episode 7. Who wants to lead that? Did you have that open, Morningstar?
I actually just opened it, so
Oh,
yeah, I
thank
could
you.
read it if you'd like. Well, then let us start. First and foremost, we must determine whether we have successfully completed a favored undertaking. And that is locate artifact, destroy, or arson. Don't know that any of that count. We got a component.
We destroyed some stuff.
Definitely tried.
We kind of
Um,
destroyed Seth a little.
I think that
That's
might
true.
be. I think that might be essential nature of the coven that comes up later.
But I think it'll also count as a bit of our lore as well.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, sure. Um, yeah, I don't think so on that one, but
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think we really did any of those things, and even if we had, we certainly didn't do it with any intent.
yeah. Oh yeah, don't forget, this wasn't just you guys going into the underworld. This does include everything you did during the entanglement. Speaking of the entanglement, you can lower your fate level down by 1 for handling that entanglement properly.
Nice.
And that's the fate number, not the dots. So now your fate drops to 2.
But
Nice.
very close to being at 3 again.
They are. Oh, actually, I forgot to do that beforehand. Gain 1
So
fate
it's
and 2 reputation.
right. Very close to 3. Right. Well, then we have to next determine whether we have contended with challengers above our current station. You said the keepers of the old ways were tier
Tier
4, 5?
5. Yeah.
I should think that would count then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna say give it to you twice, because you also dealt with Brigid, the astral spirit of the Elder Witch, and she was also higher tier than you. Her coven has long been destroyed, but I think she still counts. So that's 2 XP.
Then we have to decide if we have bolstered our coven's law and acted in a manner befitting our faith.
No
I
patron.
said
Strike that
no
part.
patron, but I think the pickle thing sort of counts as strange.
Yeah.
For sure. What are the other ones? They are deceptive, strange.
Rebellious, brutal, and ambitious. At the very least, I might say that we were deceptive because when I proposed that we bring back that astral spirit, I didn't say it at the time, but Elise's whole plan was just to create an artifact and force Bridget into it.
Oh, dang. You guys could probably get her back here without too much difficulty.
Would the rat to silverwing deceptive thing work? That's more of a surprise, I guess.
Deceptive. It's a surprise. It's fun.
For sure.
They didn't know what they were getting into when a rat was thrown at them.
There was a lot of Seth throwing this time. And some Hollis throwing, too.
They've been talking to me about this for the last couple of days. They just keep mentioning how excited they are to just get tossed around. This is the end game. They've just been building up to this point where they can just be thrown. Now a projectile.
So that's 2.
That's 2 there. All right, and now have we, my darling, expressed the drives, inner conflicts, or essential nature of our couple?
I think we have. Especially with the first little confrontation I had.
Yeah. Manipulating Brigitte to give us that stuff that we or let us keep that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Also thinking,
arson, technically, right? I mean, we didn't really catch anything on fire, but we did display as much as fire.
I charged some stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's definitely worth the 2 for that.
yeah,
puts
then
you.
that brings us to another upgrade.
Yay!
Yay, Rianne!
So that would be Rianne, Animist Expert.
What was her name spelled again? I can never remember spellings.
I don't know. I think it was R.I.
Ah, yes. I
I
believe
think
so.
so too. Because I remember trying to spell it with an H, telling me.
Yeah.
Was that with 2 N's or 1?
1.
Oh,
Ooh.
I
Yeah, I
can't
couldn't-
remember.
I was
I'd
writing
have to look
R.I.
on it.
and then Ann.
Yeah. I don't remember. It was probably 2 now that I think about it.
makes sense.
I don't think it
But I have-
matters too much at
Not
the
too
end of the
much.
day. We
Yeah,
can
no,
always
we know
change
who
it
it is.
later. Not set in stone, certainly.
Oh, as a little bonus for everybody that's still in here, you're going to put together a all of the character sheets for the characters once they've all been upgraded to the newest edition, and then we're going to put those out for everyone. See how powerful these have become over the last like 32 sessions, or however long, however many. 24 plus 7, so 31. 31 sessions. And I think almost everybody has either all of their grimoire powers, or they're just lacking 1. Is that right? Even for
I think I'm
Yara?
liking 2.
Okay.
I just
I'm
need
missing 1.
arcane identification and sigil craft. Sigil craft is one I'm really eyeballing next.
I was thinking about that one today. I was like, I need to put an asterisk beside that one and call this one like an advanced power. Like, it makes you, it kind of breaks your brain a little bit to try to work out how those can work, because you can basically say, I want to set a trap. My intent is to incinerate 3 Red Watch guards, and then you roll well enough, and that's what's going to happen when they trigger the trap. So it's kind of weird because you don't get to use it in real time. It's almost like doing a flash forward rather than a flashback. You get to set something up.
I can imagine all the shenanigans that Yarrow could possibly we just accidentally run into flash bombs that Yarrow set and she completely forgot about.
All right, well, we're gonna do personal XP off stream. Thank you to everyone that stuck around.
Except for Alpha.
Yeah, sorry, it has been a very bad
I don't know if
internet
anyone else
night.
has seen that, but it is atrocious. Do not eat pickles and chocolate.
Oh, that sounds like something our son would do. He is pickle
Yeah.
obsessed.
And chocolate obsessed.
Yeah, that's true. So let's go back around the room and let everybody know where they can find us. You can also find us on our respective Discords, links, chat, but let's start with Morningstar.
Well, darlings, if you want to find more of me, you can go to the Cytherian on Instagram or Twitter or actually, I can't remember which is which. Honestly, no one else is the Cytherian anywhere, basically. So look me up on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram to, well, revel in my beauty. It's a wonderful thing, really. Just brightens your day. Brightens mine, certainly, being so beautiful. But I wouldn't be so beautiful without my wonderful editor, who is going to announce something very special now, I think.
Go ahead.
As you've already announced it a couple times.
Announced it a bunch of times. It hasn't been ready, but yes, I've made an Instagram now. and we will be releasing behind the scenes tutorials as well as sneaky cheeky little silly one-off edits of things. So yeah, we have that to
Our
look
patrons
forward to
will
now.
get them first, of course.
Our patrons will be getting them first, and they'll be released on a delayed process, but everyone will have access to see them eventually. Right now, nothing's there, so I won't drop the link yet. I'm hoping to get a couple things up before I tell everyone the link, because I'd feel really bad if I sent you somewhere and it's just empty. But yes, that's going to be a thing now, as well as we're doing smaller posts, and we're hoping to try to do more throughout the week, but Friday will still be our official day for our release. But yep, I'm the editor and photographer of the Morningstar content. If you like any of the stuff we do, check us out on any of those platforms. And I'm hoping to have more things on that Instagram very soon.
Cool. Awesome. Let's go to Azalwin.
All right. Well, I'm Zalen, and you can find me now at all my links /Zalen. That's just gonna throw you anywhere you're gonna possibly want to find me, and it's just a lot easier to navigate than me just being like, oh yeah, just find me anywhere. So it'll link you anywhere you need to go to find me there, and we're always up to something kind of chaotic and different. But we're as inconsistent as wonderful as ever. So if you like Chaos Gremlin and just lots of random creativeness, just link me anywhere from there.
Nice. Andrea?
Yeah, I'm Andrea. You can find me on Twitter at Andrea T. Moore. You can find me on Instagram at Menagerie Nest, and you can come here on Fridays and watch me play Breath of the Wild and learn how to press 3 buttons at one time.
You're doing great, darling.
He
Way better than I could.
I swear.
It's super fun and chill and relaxed.
I've played a lot of games like that, and I swear she's doing better than I did on my first playthrough of Breath of the Wild. Right.
I don't know. I watched you play, so.
Yeah, and Anya and I are the co-authors of Children of Midnight Coven. You can grab that at quickstart.childrenofmidnight.com. We're working on the full and complete version that we're hoping to have out by the end of the year. Last week we did a movie night. Azalwin gave us access to a really awesome, fun little horror movie. What was it, Milo?
Oh, Milo!
Milo is awesome. Milo is. I was seriously considering putting Milo on that boat of the people from that movie. Milo was amazing. But anyway.
Oh, by the way, he is considering selling that frog robe.
The what?
Oh.
The frog robe that we all just loved so much. He said, I might sell that, so.
Oh. Yeah. And yeah, I'll probably be doing something different soon. We're trying to work back up to being able to pull the extra stuff we need, like GMing from the ground up and play tests and things like that. It's been hard with everything going on here at home, but we are going to try to pull something like that together relatively soon. But please join us on Patreon at patreon.com/balsamicgames. We are only 2 Patreon supporters away from a game of 10 candles, which is going to be absolutely amazing. I can't wait. I'm posting about it all the time because I really want us to be able to play that. And you get to join in if you join our Patreon. We will save you a spot in the 10 Candles game. And other than that, I feel like there's something else, but it's not coming to mind immediately. With that, we say good night. Thank you for sharing the last few hours with us.
Wonderful.
Good night. Bye.